Call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Shine, flies, no time to waste while it's passing you by. Shine, flies, be patient, 'cause good things happen in time. We gon' get it right, we gon' get it right, we gon' get it right. We gon' get it right.
Protests and anthems, yes, we chanting. A movement of people, it's like we dancing to the ministry of. It's the energy of, in memory of them that we love. The trinity of the people, the peace, the power, the truth. We speak the powers even louder. We can say it blacker, we can say it prouder. A woman vice president that went to Howard. Now we talk helping black businesses, and our differences is magnificent. Bringing light to the point where the prisons is. I was told good life is where forgiveness lives. The ascension is to leave what's left behind and feed the seeds with deeds that bless the mind, caress the mind, and question justify with you and God in time my best align.
Shine, flies, no time to waste while it's passing you by. Shine, flies, be patient, 'cause good things happen in time. We gon' get it right, we gon' get it right. We gon' get it right. We gon' get it right.
How can I be a better father, son, a better grandson, honoring Fannie Lou's and the Fred Hamptons, the Harriets, the chariots that carry us to various areas that marry us to progress. Yeah, we the harvest, the lovely days at midnight.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai, your host and White House correspondent. I'm in touch, and so you be in touch. Follow me on all the social media platforms at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, and there I am, fresh for you to follow. Also, be sure to subscribe to A More Perfect Union podcast. That way you'll never miss an episode. Last but not least, be sure to register if you haven't already to attend our KBLA 4th anniversary event. It's fast approaching, and seating at all 4 of our events is getting tight. So make sure you register at KBLA1580.com. That's our KBLA1580.com website. And if not, if you haven't already, again, I want to encourage you to stop and just go ahead and do it right now so you don't get left out. It's our 4th anniversary, and we really want to celebrate it with you. And if you're planning to join us for our 4th anniversary celebration and barbecue on the Juneteenth holiday, listen closely. We're asking everyone to bring a food gift card of any amount for the victims of the Altadena fire. Grocery store chain or restaurant, whatever it is, we're grateful for whatever you bring to help the families that are still displaced by the wildfire. So go to our KBLA1580.com website right now and sign up for the events that you plan to attend. All of our anniversary events are free, but seating is limited. So thanks in advance for doing that. Now it's time for you to decide the good, bad, and ugly headlines of the day. It's time for our national news roundup, and kicking us off, USA Today is reporting that nearly 11 million Americans would lose insurance under Trump's tax bill, about 10.9 million to be exact. 10.9 million Americans would lose their health insurance coverage under President Trump's tax cut bill that cleared the House, but faces a tough test in the Senate. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office said that 10.9 million Americans will lose health insurance coverage through 2034 under the bill, including 1.4 million undocumented residents who get covered through state-funded programs. The legislation that cleared the House would require non-disabled Americans on Medicaid to work at least 80 hours per month or qualify for an exemption, such as being a student or a caregiver. The bill would also strip coverage to immigrants who get Medicaid, again, through state-funded programs. And so, tough fight ahead in the Senate. We'll keep you in the know as things develop. But speaking of developing stories, NBC News is reporting that the Trump administration claims that Colombia violated Jewish students' rights, and they're threatening the school's accreditation. The Trump administration said today that it has notified the accreditor for Columbia University that the school violated, I think it was Title 11, threatening the university's accreditation status by saying it no longer appears to meet the commission's accreditation standards. The Education Department Office for Civil Rights and the Department of Health and Human Services Office for Civil Rights determined that Columbia University acted with deliberate indifference towards the harassment of Jewish students, thereby violating Title 11 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. It's according to the Education Department's news release, specifically through an investigation into the university that began in February. The departments found that Columbia, quotes, failed to meaningfully protect Jewish students against severe and pervasive harassment on Columbia's campus, and consequently denied the students equal access to educational opportunities to which they're entitled under the law. And so you better believe this is not going to be the last word, but certainly we're seeing a ratcheting up in the fight between the Trump administration and a number of Ivy Leagues. We've been talking a lot about Harvard University, but Columbia University is catching it too. When we come forward, we're switching gears and we're going to welcome Stacey Wilson Hunt. She's an entertainment journalist and the host of My Hollywood Story podcast. The new season just dropped. We're going to talk about just a few of the many standout interviews in this really exciting podcast series. You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say. Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice Plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Took the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA.
Love you. Love you.
New Always Pocket Flex Foam will change the way you think about pads. Get full-size protection in a surprisingly tiny pack that fits right in your purse or pocket. Perfect for life on the go. With up to 0 leaks, 0 feel, and 0 bunching, you'll forget you're even wearing a pad. And Always Pocket Flex Foam is designed to adapt to your body, so you can move freely and confidently throughout your day. Experience the future of period protection with new Always Pocket Flex Foam. Pick up your pack today.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months.
and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
Hit me!
National news, the consequence, informed opinion, and analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai, and really delighted to take a break from the White House and all the crazy there and have an opportunity to talk with Stacey Wilson Hunt. She's the host of My Hollywood Story podcast, which already premiered on Tuesday, May 20th, with new episodes releasing on Tuesdays and Thursdays, with video available to stream on My Hollywood Story YouTube's channel. Welcome to the show, Stacey.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, great to have you here. You are an award-winning journalist who's covered entertainment for The Hollywood Reporter, a New York Magazine, and TV Guide. And talk to us about this podcast. What is the mission of this podcast, and why did you decide to do it now?
Great questions. So I am a fan first. I'm a journalist as well, but I really think of myself as a rabid fan. I can't get enough backstory. I'm the person on her IMDb app while I'm watching a movie. If I see a character actor, I want to know, wait, where have I seen that person before? So I'm taking that same sort of obsessive need to understand backstories to this show. So it becomes a very curated, very heavily researched experience, not only for me, but for the talent. And I really do trace the person's entire journey from when they were born, quite literally, to where they are today. And obviously I'm not tracing, every minute of their lives, and we'd be there 25 hours. But sort of the milestone key moments that have informed why they have chosen to be artists, who inspired them, who are the mentors who changed their life, who is the teacher who said, you know what, I see in you creativity. Why don't you, instead of misbehaving in class, why don't you put that energy into a drama class? Why don't you try to write something? And actually my Billy Bob Thornton, who was my first guest, whom I've interviewed many times, he told a really great story about how he wasn't a great student. He had dyslexia, he had anxiety. And of course, back then, he's almost 70, we didn't have the language to help kids when they were younger. We just said, oh, he's a screw off, she's a clown, send them to the principal's office. Mm-hmm. But he had a teacher who had recognized in him, you have gifts, you're a storyteller, you're a dreamer. Why don't you try to use those for good? So he points to those moments in his life that had he not had them, his life may have gone very differently. So it's kind of extricating the moments, the milestone, key sea change moments in people's careers. And I find that very inspiring just as a human.
I mean, minus the genealogy piece of it, it sort of reminds me a little bit of a cross between Henry Louis Gates.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
PBS.
Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite shows. So thank you for, yes.
Me too.
I love it.
And Inside the Actors Studio. And, it's been years and years and years since that show was on. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anyone's come as close as you to recap.
Those are really the two shows that I really used as my tonal references. So you hit the nail on the head.
Well, no, you hit the nail on the head. What a great series, and what a great season of folks. You mentioned Billy Bob Thornton, but I think our audience would also be interested to learn in your conversation related to Niecy Nash-Betts. It is month. He has had quite a journey.
Oh my
where
goodness!
She started is nowhere close to where she's finished.
That could have been a 10-hour episode. I just filmed her last week, and and I've met her a number of times, interviewed her a number of times, but boy, she brought the house down. And what's unique about this show is some of them are filmed in front of an audience and some of them aren't. So it's sort of up to the talent preference. Some people thrive in front of an audience. Some people prefer a more quiet experience. And if you know Niecy or you get a sense of her personality, boy, does she like a crowd. She's a real entertainer.
To say the least.
Yeah.
But how deep did she go in terms of, talking about her journey in terms of really inviting us all in to her love story with Jessica Betts. I mean, a lot of folks were surprised, like, Niecy's gay, right?
Yeah. And it's interesting because she hasn't used that word. She doesn't mind that word, but she doesn't use it to describe what she says is just this new phase of her life. And she was clear. She didn't say this in my interview last week, but she has said it sort of, I wasn't closeted. I just hadn't met Jessica yet. Yeah. So I think she's really reframed this idea of being able to have these different versions of yourself and accepting all of them. And it doesn't negate what has come before. But I did ask her about Jessica, whom I also met a couple years ago. They are such an amazing couple. And Niecy isn't someone, I think, who can talk about herself without being raw and emotional. She is not someone who's editing parts of her life out. If she's going to talk to you, she's going to tell you everything. So we started at the beginning. She was a young mother, 3 children, taking her children to auditions, sort of managing marriages that hadn't worked out, dealing with violence. Her brother was killed in the 90s. Her mother was also shot in South Central, I believe, where she grew up. So she has really weathered a lot of challenges. So for someone like her, you can't walk away without feeling, wow, this is what resilience looks like. This is a portrait of passion, of someone who's just never given up on herself, which, I mean, for me is just sort of the whole point of the show.
Do you think that those experiences that folks like Niecy had, folks like Billy Bob Thornton, what's the recurring theme that you're getting from these Hollywood A-listers? They certainly didn't become A-listers overnight. They certainly are not immune to some of the challenges that we all experience in life and in our families. What's the recurring theme that you're picking up on?
And I was just speaking about this earlier this morning. I think the thing that comes back again and again is a willingness to never give up. Like, it's the most basic tenet of success, but an unrelenting drive to continue to tell stories. Because this is a very difficult life, a very difficult profession. And increasingly, Hollywood is it's just like every day we wake up to a new challenge. We survived the pandemic, the strikes, the fires. To continue to do work in this town, you have to wake up every day and say to yourself, there's nothing else I'd rather be doing than this, because otherwise it is just too hard. So I'd say that's one thing. I think adversity is a real driving force for a lot of these folks. And I spoke to Sharon Horgan, the Irish writer and co-creator of a number of shows, and she's also a very talented actor. And she said that she's so grateful for all of her failures, because she says her failures have forced her to think differently about her work, to come up with new stories. And she's grateful for the shows that she made in England that didn't work, because then it pivoted her to creating content that maybe she felt more passionately about, and that was more personal. And I think a lot of people have had the most success with doing work that feels the most personal to them. So I think that's another thing that's emerged for me too.
It was just announced yesterday that the U.S. may strip the Harvey Milk's name from a Navy vessel. He was not alone. Folks like Medgar Evers, civil rights leaders like John Lewis are on that list of folks whose names may be erased from military vessels. This is a huge recognition that they earned. You talked to David Oyelowo. David Oyelowo played Martin Luther King Jr.
He sure did.
Critically acclaimed film Selma.
Yes.
By Ava DuVernay.
Yes.
Talk to us about your conversation with David Oyelowo, who's not American.
No, he's not.
Actually,
he is now a citizen of the U.S.
Okay, so he's now a citizen.
He is now, and he lives right up. I'm pointing up there. He lives in the Valley, just a few miles north of me. So he is actually a citizen. But to your point, he was from England, and he, of course, was born to Nigerian immigrants in Oxford, England.
That's right. And he has played one of the most consequential civil rights leaders in American history. Talk to us about what you gleaned from David Oyelowo's journey.
Oh, David, what a special guy. I met him in 2012, and he was in Ava DuVernay's first feature called Middle of Nowhere, which is a really lovely independent film. I think the budget was like $200,000, very small. but very powerful story centered right here in Los Angeles. He played a bus driver, very kind of everyday kind of guy. And he is, I don't play favorites with my guests, of course, but I have to say he is truly one of the most remarkable people I have ever met. And his story is one of not only resilience, of having a lot of cross-cultural dissonance. He was born in Oxford and then moved to Nigeria for his father's job and then moved back to England. And he revealed in our conversation that he faced a lot of racism and a lot of bullying from other Black kids in school who saw him as, oh, you're better than us. The way you wear your suits at school. And for him, he came from a culture where you respect your elders, you're very formal, a lot of politeness and a lot of manners. And he said that he would go home crying and talking to his dad, and his dad really helped him realize this has nothing to do with you. This has everything to do with them. So I think he internalized a lot of that, but then really wanted to use it in his art. And he did have to defy his parents on two main fronts. They did not want him to be an actor. They wanted him, of course, as many parents do, lawyer, doctor, etc. And he also married a white woman. And his parents were very, very concerned about that because they had had their own experiences dealing with white people having moved to England. And they were worried for him and they didn't want him to have a difficult life. So David said that he was grateful he defied his father on those two main notes. And he loved his father very much, who has since passed. But knowing that he had to stick with what was in his heart. He knew he wanted to be an artist and he knew he wanted to marry Jessica, and he did. And he has thrived ever since and is just, in my opinion, one of the most versatile artists working today. He can do any accent. He truly can do anything. And his current show on Apple TV Plus, Government Cheese, very quirky show. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch it, but he plays this guy who gets out of prison. It's the late 60s, early 70s. And you just believe he's this guy, but you also believe he's Dr. King. Like, who can play this within this spectrum of performance? I'm truly blown away by him. So I can't wait for people his episode drops tomorrow, actually. So I'm excited for people to listen.
Well, we're excited to tap in and listen. It's not often that you hear Hollywood A-listers really go that deep. I mean, you know this, when you're interviewing folks, the best interviews are the folks that really come willing to dive in, right? Well,
and you also have to have enough time, because I'm sure it takes 20 minutes just to get warmed up with someone. The first 5 minutes of any interview it's almost like being on a date. Sort of like, who are you? What is your goal? Can I trust you? Are you going to do a clickbaity headline kind of question? And then once people settle in, I think it almost becomes like therapy for them, or they start to work out, oh, I guess I was upset about that. Oh, that's interesting. I never thought about that job impacted me this way, which is why I then made the decision to do the next thing, and so on and so on. So I love seeing those moments of revelation on people's faces where they think they know their own career. And in fact, they haven't really had the time to think about how all these moments have informed who they are today. And that feels like, just for me to be able to witness that and also share it with an audience, just feels super special.
Yeah. And kudos to you. I mean, to get, somebody like David Oyelowo to talk about, some of the challenges that his family had with some of his decisions, including marrying his white wife. I mean, that's not the type of thing that you hear a lot of Hollywood A-listers sort of talk frankly about.
No.
Now, we as an audience, we talk about it. The internet talks about it, right? But I think especially in this moment in history, I think those conversations are desperately needed.
Well, and there could be a sense of taboo to talk about this stuff or ask someone about that aspect of their lives. I certainly wouldn't have broached that were he not willing to share that, because it does feel sensitive. And also, Jessica's a wonderful person. I'm passing no judgment about anything that they've done in their lives, but for him to bring it up on his own and to then think about, oh, how has this informed the stories that he wants to tell and all that she wants to tell? And it is very special, to your point. And David has also been very outspoken lately about what he has called the, quote, performative nature of some of the DEI programs in Hollywood, and how he had some shows and projects that were greenlit in that post-George Floyd era, that terrible time 5 years ago, that have since either kind of faded away or they've been put on hold And he and Jessica gave a pretty frank interview to the LA Times in the last couple of months where he essentially said a lot of that was for show and we have to do better. And so for him to say that and kind of throw Hollywood under the bus at a time when, of course, you know, in DC, we're seeing all of this kind of being dismantled by the minute. I thought that was very brave of him to say, hey, Hollywood, you may have had good intentions with this, but it didn't work. So what can we do moving forward? What can David and Jessica do as creators, as people who have influence, to actually make sure marginalized people get to continue to tell stories? So I think he's rare in that sense that he's willing to go there, which I really appreciate about him.
I mean, you know, speaking of Hollywood, right now, there's a tension between sort of old Hollywood and the sort of emerging Hollywood.
Yeah.
You just recently saw another announcement of another round of layoffs from Disney.
Yeah.
And so, you know, over the past several years since the pandemics, it feels like there has been a downward spiral,
Yes.
certainly for rank and file Hollywood folks. What insights did your guests offer in terms of this tension between old Hollywood and emerging Hollywood?
Well, it's interesting. My guests are all people who are generally, and I'm looking at the list here, they're
heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. An HBCU Hampton University staffer is under investigation after a student posted a video accusing them of demanding sex for grades. Several students spoke anonymously to Wavy News 10, fearing backlash.
I did not want this to tarnish the reputation of the university. I felt like the entire situation was unfortunate.
The university says it's investigating and offering mental health support. Black Newark, New Jersey Mayor Ras Baraka is suing after what he calls his egregious arrest last month outside of an ICE facility. He accuses U.S. Attorney Alina Habba of false arrest, defamation, and acting as a political operative. And Black Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass will not have to testify in a homelessness lawsuit after subpoenas were pulled. The LA Alliance for Human Rights sued the city for allegedly failing to meet a deal requiring nearly 13,000 beds by 2027. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Boyle Heights, a stall on the 5 northbound before Cesar Chavez. That's where the second lane from the left is blocked, delays away from Grande Vista. A stall in Mid-City on the 10 eastbound before Fairfax, blocking that left lane, delays out of Santa Monica, leaving Cloverfield. Anaheim Hills, a wreck on the toll road 241 northbound just before the 91. These guys are off to the shoulder, but the drive is a mess away from Windy Ridge Toll Plaza. And let's head out to the drive in Diamond Bar, 57 northbound. That's slowing you down away from Diamond Bar Boulevard to the 60.
Every day, a child in poverty waits for a sponsor is another day of hopelessness. There are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
If former Clippers star Paul George decides to watch the NBA Finals, he can say he was a major factor in the Oklahoma City Thunder and Indiana Pacers playing for a championship. George was traded by OKC in 2019 to the Clippers for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and 5 first-round draft picks. OKC used 2 of those picks to select All-Star guard Jalen Williams and rookie guard Dylan Jones, a key player off the bench for OKC. In 2017, Indiana traded George to OKC for guard Victor Oladipo and center Domantas Sabonis. 2 years later, the Pacers used Sabonis in a trade with Sacramento to get Tyrese Halliburton. Halliburton and Gilgeous-Alexander have their teams on the doorstep of an NBA championship. As for George, a 9-time All-Star, he's stuck with the Philadelphia 76ers team that is nowhere close to competing for an NBA title. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Pastor and Mrs. William Sachs Epps on their retirement from stewardship at the historic Second Baptist Church. Dr. Epps has faithfully served Second Baptist as its senior pastor for 37 years. What a legacy of love and leadership. Pastor and Mrs. Epps will be honored at a luncheon on Saturday, July 26, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, and you're invited to attend. Noted scholar Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is the keynote speaker. For ticket information, please contact epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. That's epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm LA City Councilman Curran Price, inviting you to join us on Saturday, June the 14th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. as we cut the ribbon on the brand new Enel Woods Park at 8703 South McKinley Avenue. Thanks to a generous donation from Heal the Bay, the park features smart irrigation, stormwater capture systems, and space for local wildlife to thrive. And we've built a walking trail, picnic areas, native landscaping, and quiet spaces for families to gather, relax, and connect. This is part of a much larger effort to expand green spaces across South LA with 3 new parks in the works, a first-of-its-kind community center coming soon, and plans to connect it all through the South LA Greenway. So mark your calendar for Saturday, June 14th, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., and come celebrate a greener, stronger South LA at Enel Woods Park. I'm also pleased to sponsor the Climate Justice Plus Black Health Symposium, moderated by Tavis Smiley, live on C-SPAN, Wednesday, June the 18th, from 4 to 7 p.m. at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center. Just a reminder to sign up right away at the KBLA1580.com website to join me, Mayor Karen Bass, Congresswoman Sidney Kamlager Dove, Tennessee State Representative Justin Pearson, Dr. Cornel West, former Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr., the Sierra Club's Ben Jealous, and other Black influencers in the climate and health fields, as we continue to amplify the connection between climate and poor health outcomes for our people. Thank you for listening. I'm Councilman Curran Price.
Now back to building a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hollywood and emerging Hollywood.
Well, it's interesting. My guests are all people who are generally, and I'm looking at my list here, they're all over 40 years old for the most part. So I don't have anyone who has come of age during this influencer era, I'll call it. Most people, if you're 40 and older, you came of age as an artist in the old school model. So I think there isn't a person on my show who hasn't had to adjust to this new world order, whether it be the consolidation of Warner Brothers Discovery, which then creates all this contraction at HBO. So someone may 5 or 10 years ago, oh, I'm pitching at HBO and I got a green light and we're going to do a pilot or I got a series order. Someone like that may not have those same spoils today. Most companies are just not making as much content as they were. And if they are, the whole process is contracted. The writers' rooms are small, if any writers' rooms even exist, which is what the strikes were about. So I don't think there's any person I've spoken to who hasn't been directly or even indirectly affected by everything you've just talked about. There's just less work. And especially in Los Angeles, it is a ghost town at the studios. It is really sad. Like I would go to the Fox lot or Warner Brothers lot, maybe to have lunch or see people, or I often moderate a lot of events. And normally you pull up, the parking lot's full, crew members are walking around, driving trucks, costumers with their little racks. It's very, very diminished. So I think when we see those visuals, it kind of takes a toll. And I think people realize, wow, Hollywood has really exported itself to Atlanta, to Europe, back to Canada. And I think there just has to be a mandate now for things to film here whenever they can, because it really is causing a lot of issues for everyone from actors down to caterers to the craftspeople. I have a friend who's a prop master. He hasn't worked in months. So this is less about actors getting roles than it is we have to create stories that we can film here and get people back to work.
Stacey, in our remaining minutes, I want to give you an opportunity to speak to some of the young artists out there, like my nephew, Sincere Cato, and so many other folks out there that are entering the industry in this topsy-turvy time. To David Oyelowo's point, the performative nature of DEI continues.
Yes.
Based on your interviews with these heavyweights, what advice would you offer to emerging artists?
Oh, such a tough question to answer. You know, I spoke to Elizabeth Moss in her episode dropped last week, and she told this really great story about being on the set of Girl Interrupted, which was filmed in 1998, and the movie came out in 1999, starring Winona Ryder. And Elizabeth herself was 15, 16 years old at the time. And I asked her what it was like to work with Winona. And she said that Winona really took her under her wing. And Winona took her in her trailer each night to show Elizabeth movies, to actually educate her about film, foreign films, black and white films, films that she hadn't had a chance to see. Because she told her, you can't work in this business if you don't know cinema, if you don't know the history of this medium. And I would say, just even as someone who gives advice often to young people, you really have to understand the history. And it's not to say that we all don't need to pivot and learn how to adjust to this streaming era, adjust to the bites of content on TikTok. But unless you know who these figures are from the past and the work they've created, you can't build on it and you can't innovate. So I would say the best thing is just make sure you understand the history before we try to write the future. It's just too hard if you don't have a foundation of knowledge.
That is a great note to end on. Our thanks to Stacey Wilson Hunt. Just a reminder that her podcast, My Hollywood Story, has already premiered, and new episodes drop every Tuesday and Thursday with video available to stream on My Hollywood Story's YouTube channel. Thank you, Stacey. I really have enjoyed this conversation.
Oh, well, I'd love to come back anytime. You're wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Can't wait to listen to you. You've been listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
Founded in Los Angeles in 1986, litigation powerhouse Quinn Emanuel has deep roots in the Los Angeles community. Since 2007, we have litigated some of the largest fires on the West Coast. We are proud to be the only AmLaw 100 firm in the country to represent wildfire victims, giving affected individuals, families, and businesses the same focus and individualized attention we devote to our Fortune 500 clients. BTI Consulting has repeatedly recognized Quinn Emanuel as among the 4 law firms in-house counsel least likely to oppose in any litigation, and we are often deemed the most feared. And after securing over $80 billion for our clients in various matters firm-wide, we understand why. If you have been affected by the recent wildfires in Altadena and the Palisades and would like to discuss your situation further, please contact wildfire support at QuinnEmanuel.com or call us at 213-443-3050. Quinn Emanuel is proud to sponsor Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr on KBLA Talk 1580.
Attorney advertising. Prior results do not guarantee future outcomes.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a Black and Brown-led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Pasadena City College is proud to support Conversation Live Altadena Rising with James Farr. For over 100 years, PCC has been a pillar of the community, and we're here for you as we work together to recover from the Eaton fire and rebuild Altadena's future. At PCC, we offer diverse career education programs that prepare you for in-demand jobs, fueling both today's recovery and tomorrow's growth. Whether you're starting a new career or advancing your skills, PCC gives you tools to build your future and your community. Pasadena City College, here for the Dena, here for you. Learn more at pccfordena.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PUSH to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PUSH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PUSH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text EQUAL to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text EQUAL to 321-321. That's EQUAL to 321-321.
We face tragedy, but we don't fall into despair. We continue our work to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Corte, your host and White House correspondent, and just a little bit of encouragement. Maybe think of it as an incentive for those of you that don't know. When I'm off air, I also serve as a professor at Pepperdine University's Graduate School of Education and Psychology. If you're thinking about going back to school, then you might want to think about Pepperdine's Graduate School of Education and Psychology. On the psychology side, we have our marriage and family therapy program, our counseling programs, and on the education side where I'm at, we have our social entrepreneurship and change program. We also have our organizational leadership and global leadership doctoral programs. And so if you've been thinking about it, consider this a sign. And just as a little bit of an added incentive, if you use the code word PATH to Purpose, PATH, the number 2, the word purpose, PATH to Purpose, we will waive the $55 application fee, and you'll be given the highest level of consideration for a $10,000 scholarship. And so if you're looking for a sign, consider this the sign that perhaps you were looking for. And so that's a little bit of encouragement for folks out there thinking about their journey in higher education. Moving along, have you all been paying attention to efforts by the U.S. Defense Secretary to strip civil rights leaders like Harvey Milk and John Lewis and Medgar Evers off of Navy vessels? If you haven't been paying attention, Sean Penn, who actually played Harvey Milk in that Academy Award nominating film, he's been paying attention and he has something to say. These guys are idiots. That's the short of it. That's what Sean Penn and Dustin Lance Black said in their call out of the government's Harvey Milk erasure. The Guardian is reporting that Sean Penn, as in the Oscar award-winning actor of 2008's Harvey Milk biopic Milk, and Milk writer Dustin Lance Black, they've spoken out against the U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's decision to remove the gay rights icon's name from the Navy ship, saying, Dustin Black said, in short, quote, "This is yet another move to distract and to fuel the culture wars that create divisions." This is what he shared with the Hollywood Reporter recently in a phone call. He also went on to say that it's meant to get us to react in ways that are self-centered so that we are further distanced from our brothers and sisters in equally important civil rights fights in this country. It is divide and conquer. Penn, who won his second best actor Oscar for playing former San Francisco supervisor, added in an email, quotes, "I've never before seen a Secretary of Defense so aggressively demote himself to the rank of Chief Petty Officer." The order to rename the United States Navy ship Harvey Milk, christened in San Diego in 2021 for the prominent gay rights Navy veteran, was a part of an internal memo that was leaked just this past Tuesday. The Pentagon's chief spokesperson confirmed that the ship's new name will be announced after internal reviews are complete. The timing of this decision, of course, is pretty obvious. The timing of this decision for mid-June, a month meant to celebrate LGBTQ Pride Month and celebrate the LGBTQ community, was reportedly intentional. The renaming is supposed to ensure, quote, alignment with the president and SecDef's objectives and the Secretary of the Navy's priorities of reestablishing the warrior culture, referring to Donald Trump, Hegseth, and Navy Secretary John Phelan's memorandum. This is where we're at. And guess what? This has nothing to do with the cost of eggs. Remember all the folks out there that thought that the price of eggs too high, price of bacon, cost too high, inflation's just running out of control. And you had Donald Trump and the MAGA movement that said, this is what this country needs. How is any of this making your life better? I think that's the question we need to keep asking ourselves. And every chance we have an opportunity to course correct, we should. That's what people do in democracies. But instead, we have folks over there preoccupied with the names of civil rights icons, civil rights leaders on Navy ships, and erasing those names from those Navy ships, thinking that they just might be able to erase them from history. That's what they're worried about. There's a lot going on in the world. He's worried about the name on the side of a ship. The U.S. Secretary of Defense. Finally, in our remaining minutes, I want to talk a little bit about Target. Have you been to Target lately? It's been a month of Sundays since I've been to Target. I can actually remember the last bit of products I got at Target. And a lot of folks are studying the Target boycott very closely. I'm talking about not just corporate leaders, but grassroots leaders as well, because there may be more of that to come. USA Today is reporting on what fueled the Target DEI boycott, and the answer may surprise you. It just may surprise you. You see, Israeli tech firm Cybra, they analyzed thousands of posts on social media, on the social media platform X, from January 1st to April 21st, as shoppers vented over Target's pullback and activists organized grassroots boycotts. And it determined that 27% of the social media accounts that it sampled were fake and contributed significantly to the viral backlash. Inauthentic sentiment surged, get this, 764% after Target's announcement to roll back some diversity programs. That's what Cybra, this Israeli tech firm, this is what they found. The accounts impersonating Black users actively promoted calls to boycott Target using trending hashtags such as hashtag economic blackout. Some posts accused Target of bending the knee to President Trump. Others pushed specific campaigns such as Target Fast or 40-day boycott to persuade people to stop shopping at Target. Cybra's analysts who use artificial intelligence to identify fake accounts all uncovered profiles posing as conservative voices who mocked the Target boycott. These accounts claimed that they had already boycotted Target over its woke policies. So while Cybra said that it did not find clear evidence that this was also a rigged campaign to dupe Target shoppers, exploiting political and cultural divisions is a common tactic by influence operations. It's a common tactic. Very similar. It's have been used against other major brands, including Nike and Costco and Starbucks. And maybe a company that you like coming soon. Maybe your very own company. You never know. Cybra said it examined the online discussions around the Target boycott after its systems flagged multiple telltale signs of inauthentic behavior, such as spikes in engagement or rapid viral backlash, synchronized messaging, high volume posting, and an unusually high number of fake accounts. Target didn't respond to this USA Today story, but we all know that the backlash against DEI gained momentum during the 2024 presidential campaign, but it hit a fever pitch when Trump took office and issued a series of executive orders aimed at eliminating illegal DEI in the federal government and the private sector. Target was one of the corporations to make concessions in a rapidly changing political climate. And in recent months, its customers have pulled back on discretionary purchases amid growing anxiety over the economy and inflation. And the company also cited its decision to scrap some diversity policies as a contributor to the sharp pullback in consumer spending in the first quarter, as church pastors and other community activists launched protests spreading the word of planned boycotts on social media. We have had Pastor Jamal Bryant on this show talking about the Target boycott. We've had grassroots leaders in Minneapolis and in other parts of the country on this show to talk about the boycott. And it's important to note that part of the reason why Target has garnered so much backlash was because they presented themselves as a strong and powerful ally. They made commitments to their customers, to people who frequent their stores, but also they made commitments to folks in communities across the country to say, hey, we want to be a leader. We want to show America this is how you do it. Corporate America, this is how you do it. And when the fish grease got a little hot, they said, nah, we ain't doing this. And so, this is a great lesson in be who you say you are. It's easy to show up when you're being celebrated. It's a lot harder to stand tall when you're standing in the fish grease. Corporate America, take note. Grassroots leaders, take note. When we come forward, we're shifting gears. We'll be joined in our next hour with Hollywood director Nathan Hale Williams. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. 9 Democrats will debate tonight in the New York City mayoral race with the primary 3 weeks away. Black Mayor Eric Adams, now running as an independent, will not participate, but recently criticized frontrunner Andrew Cuomo.
I spent so much time fixing the governor's mess. If you look at a lot of the energy that I had to do, I had to correct what he put in place.
The 2-hour no audience debate starts at 7 p.m.